Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Bryan with another knife review for you. Today we have the Massdrop Ferrum Forge Crux. Unfortunately, as is usual with Massdrop, by the time anyone gets one to review it, they're long since gone. Massdrop is a pretty cool site. They have a lot of awesome stuff on there, every kind of thing you can think of. And you pre-order it, and then it takes a long time to get it, and you just pay the pre-order and it's gone. So, but this is a really cool collaboration. They're still highly available on the secondary market, so I still think it's worth doing a review. And with Massdrop, you never know, it might come back again. You never know. So I think this is a good thing to have out there on the interwebs if you're thinking about a used one, or if they come back again and you want to get a new one. This is made by, as I said, is a design by Ferrum Forge. It's actually made by We in China. When it was new on Massdrop, it was about 125 bucks. On the secondary market, I took a look, I found some for like between 140 and 160. So they're still pretty reasonably priced for what you get, because you're getting a lot. Ferrum Forge design, their knives are usually, their cheapest thing they have is like 600 bucks. So this is a lot cheaper than their stuff that they make themselves. And it's a We, you know it's still made very well. And it's chocker box full of titanium. You've got a titanium frame lock, titanium 3D machine milled clip, titanium backspacer. It does have a nice lock bar insert, and a very good quality S35 VN blade. So that's a lot of bang for the buck, even if you're paying 150, 160 on the secondary market. This knife is a lot of bang for the buck, I do have to say. Quite impressed with that. I'm really surprised they're not going for more in the secondary, but as of today when I looked, that's the average prices that I found. So very, very cool knife. Let's just get into the stats right away. I'll talk about that first. You have an overall length of just a hair over 7.5 inches, blade length of 3.4 inches, weight of 4.3 ounces. So it's not super light, but it's not super heavy at all. That's a kind of I'd say middle of the road weight for a knife this expensive, and with this size blade. You have a blade thickness of 0.16 inches and a handle thickness of 0.45, so well under that half-inch Maginot line that a lot of people they say is too thick. I don't mind if something's a bit thicker than that, but a lot of people, that's kind of their limit. All right, let's do some size comparisons here, get some visual stuff to compare it to. First of all, obviously, when I think about titanium frame locks, I got that's a good excuse to bust out the Chris Reeve large Sabenza. It's a little smaller than that, obviously. Let's look at, oh, what the heck, I have this here. This is coming up for review so soon too. We have the Zero Tolerance 452 carbon fiber. This is obviously much larger. That's a heck of a big knife. Something else that's also, let's just, this is just a teaser. I'm not going to lie to you. This is probably going to come up the day after this comes up, but my newly mid-process customized PM2, but it's still the same size. So it's a little smaller than a PM2 is. And, last but not least, I think this is going to be interesting. We're going to flip these over. I don't usually do that for comparison, but this is a We 715 ignition made by the same factory and same company that makes this. You can see they're extremely similar size. And if you flip them around, you can see a lot of similarities, like the way it's cut around the pivot, for the lock bar. And yeah, there's just a lot of similarities in these. If you put them side by side, you can see like initially I thought, oh, this doesn't seem like a We, and then I compared them back and forth. I'm like, oh no, there's a lot of We-ness in this. Since it's made by We, you're getting a lot of the same stuff that We does. Ceramic ball bearings, ceramic detent ball, a lot of the same stuff you'd expect to see on a We. Now, let's just get into the actual knife itself. As far as quality and aesthetics, it's very well made. I'm very happy with the way it's made. It's that the lock bar insert is fantastic. There's no lock stick whatsoever. I like that. Detent is perfect. This knife's never been torn apart or anything. The pocket clip is very well machined and very well done. Backspacer looks good. Aesthetically, it's not an exciting looking knife, but that doesn't bother me. I mean, that's the biggest complaint I hear about this knife around the internet. It's sort of like, it's just boring. Fine. I don't always want my knives to look crazy. I think this looks aesthetically pleasing enough without looking crazy, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's no markings whatsoever on one side of the blade. The other side, you have the Ferrum Forge design logo, pretty discreetly machined in there, and just a little Massdrop and the number, and S35VN, and that's it. I like that. That's not a complaint for me. To me, that's a good thing. But to some people, they may find it to be a bit boring. I guess this could also go in the aesthetics. I will say that I know the guy who owned this before didn't carry a whole lot, and it is snail trailing and stuff. You'll get that on titanium, but this one does seem, not going to say egregious, but it does have some marks on it for sure. So, but that's what you get when you get a titanium frame lock. I mean, even my Chris Reeve has got some marks on it. It happens with titanium frames. That's just the price you pay. Titanium scratches up. It sucks, but it's just the truth of the matter. If you always want your knife to look pristine, go with G10 or something else, or carbon fiber or something, because the titanium's going to scratch up. Onto the blade. Really like the blade on this. The blade stock is, pretty average thickness. It's a little thick. It's got this nice, really done, swedging on it. It's really smooth. I mean, there's not like a hard edge on this knife anywhere, and I like that swedge, but in the middle here it is pretty thick, but it's a very high hollow grind. I think it's hollow, or is it a flat? I think it's flat. But anyway, I cut some stuff, cut some cardboard with it. Cuts great. Very good slicer. S35VN, all you could ever ask for. Probably my favorite steel right now. S35VN or M390, one of those two are my favorite, because it's hard, holds good edge, isn't hard to sharpen up. So it's a good combination. It's a good meet in the middle kind of steel. I do like that a lot. It's got a really good sharpening choil on it that's done properly, so when you do have to sharpen it, you'll be able to sharpen it very easily. So I like that about it. Ergonomically, it's also pretty good. No real hot spots. You can feel the pocket clip a little bit in your hand when you squeeze really, really hard, but it's not bad. It's a pretty thin, narrow pocket clip, so it's not a whole lot of real estate is taken up there, but you can feel it when you really bear down on it. But, other than that, that's a minor annoyance. I like it. It does have this nice finger choil, so you can choke up and do stuff. You know how I like that. It doesn't have any jimping up here. I think it could use that, but I get why they didn't do it in this particular knife. I mean, this design aesthetically is clearly meant to look clean, and the jimping would have dirtied it up a little bit. So I guess I can kind of see why they didn't do it, but I do wish it was there. It would be a much better worker if it just had a little bit of jimping right there where you could choke up and do more detail work, but works great in any grip. It feels really good in this grip, actually. But yeah, it's ergonomically, it's good. It feels like a nice titanium frame lock flipper. Some G10 bigger stuff feels a bit better in the hand, but this feels like a really good titanium frame lock flipper, so no complaints there. Carry-wise, mostly good with one glaring thing that annoys me. So, like I said, under half an inch thick handle, that's fine. It does carry fairly high. That's a slight annoyance, but it's not that bad. It is thin, vertically. You can see these are all half-inch squares. It's pretty thin vertically, but this is, I try not to use other people's terms, but nothing has exemplified that I've reviewed yet Nick Shabazz's trademark term of pocket pecker like this thing. That flipper tab is just out there. It's got some pretty sharp jimping on the end of it. Whatever you put in your pocket with this, make sure it's not scratchable, because it's going to get scratched. This thing is it's going to nail stuff. It's got, like I said, pretty sharp jimping, and man, it sticks out there. Yep, I do not like the way this flipper tab sticks out in my pocket. I don't put anything else in my pocket with this knife unless I know it's going to be sitting at the bottom of the pocket below this. So yeah, I mean, I'm a filthy vapor, and I didn't even I put this in there with it. That's plugged in. I put this little thing in there with it, and made it as far as going down the stairs, and I could hear it, banging against it. And I was like, well, that's not going to work, and I just switched this to the other pocket. So it's not the best carry just because of that little flipper tab. Now, if you'd not put anything else in that pocket, it's fine. It's good. The action on this thing, though, is great, and it's probably partly because of that big long flipper tab. So, it's pluses, minuses. You give and you take. The action on it is just awesome. The detent is perfect. I've never had it fail to deploy once, and super smooth. Runs on, like I said, the Wii ceramic small bearings. They are small ceramic bearings, and it is just smooth as could be. It's really good. The detent is just outstanding. Very easy to disengage. The action on this feels like a very expensive knife. It really, really does. It feels like I haven't held one of the Ferrum Forge $600 knives, but I bet they're not any better than this. This is really, really, really good. I have held some, and used some $1,000 customs, and they weren't as good as this. This is just super smooth, super nice. I love the action on this knife. I really, really do. So what is my overall opinion? I like it. It's pretty cool. And if you can find one on the secondary at the right price, if you just go stat for stat, it's pretty hard to find a match, at $150 that has full titanium, S35, all those kind of things. But that said, that flipper tab in your pocket is going to be an issue if you put anything else in there. And you can't get it anymore, so there's a bit of exclusivity, so I'm sure these are going to go up eventually, so maybe that's a thing in your head. But it's got a great blade, S35VN, super easy to take care of. The action is just super smooth, and the price, even secondary, is not that horrible. So there's my thoughts on the Ferrum Forge Crux, made by Wii, sold by Massdrop. That's a whole lot of name, but a whole lot of knife. It's pretty cool, and I'm really glad I got the chance to experience one. Thanks so much to my friend Mike for loaning it to me. And I will miss it when it goes back, except for that little flipper tab. I won't miss that a bit. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.